My wife 32F doesn't initiate sex or flirt with me 32M anymore. Me and my wife are married for 6 years and we've 2 kids together. We are a great couple and I love her so much. I am sure she loves me as much as well.
In the last year or 2 maybe.
She has stopped initiating or flirting with me. I've tried to bring it up with her multiple times but she says she doesn't feel it unless I
initiate it in the bedroom. So no more flirty sexts or teasing outside of bedroom. Our sex feels scheduled or practiced. This makes me feel unattractive and not wanted. How do I approach this? Is this what most marriages turn into? Edit to add more info. We are both working full-time and have a busy schedule. We both share household chores and take care of the kids equally. Outside of this, we don't have any major issues. We both work out and we are relatively fit. Kids definitely will change the sex dynamic. I have a 1-year-old and since she became pregnant, my wife had a real low libido. It's just starting to come around at month 23. But slowly. And it's taking a lot of work. One of the things I try to do is plan at least 1 day a month to take off work with her. Just us during the day. To be together. You have to work at it. I'm trying and so should you. And her. This is a common issue with married couples with young kids. Exhaustion and burnout really take over. She might not feel very attractive either, or she feels more like a mom than a wife. Talk to her about how you're feeling and try to come up with ways to spice things up. There are games to break the ice in the bedroom. Go back into dating mode and prioritize your time together. It has to be a conscious effort at first. Marriage is hard work sometimes because everything else becomes prioritized over the relationship. Question. Before this, was she the one who often instigated it? I ask because it was always, and I mean always, myself who instigated sex when I met my husband. After a few years I realized it was only me and that made me feel less wanted. So, I quit being the one. I would take the time to really explore what's going on. Like not in a passing convo. But get comfortable. Turn on a background noise type of thing in the TV. Grab a snack. And sit together on the couch with a blanket or something by yourselves and try to talk about what the change is for her. And how it makes you feel. Be open. Listen. Be honest about how you feel. But not blaming. I.e., instead of saying, when you don't do this, I feel. Try, I remember when we used to and it made me feel. I miss that feeling. What could be going on might be something totally unrelated. It might be something directly in your control. It might not. Sex drives ebb and flow. Personally, I wouldn't make any suggestions to her about what she should do. See a doctor, etc. Until you do a deep dive conversation into the situation. I wouldn't get too worried that now is going to be defining your sex life permanently. There are so many options out there to work with so many different types of situations. Get to the root of the problem to find your options. And if you struggle to really identify the root of the problem, maybe bring in a couples counselor or sex therapist. But only after trying to work it out yourselves for a bit. You both love each other and from what you said sounds like you have a balanced relationship. You got this. I believe in you. My wife and I went through a bad time where I thought divorce was imminent. We started arguing. We became distant. I couldn't figure it out and my wife said everything was okay, but I knew different. She always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and after our second daughter, she did. Her sister finally told me she was feeling unappreciated. That her job sucked. This was only after we were married 10 years. I had to figure out what to do because I didn't want to lose her. I wanted to save my marriage. Once, a long time ago, my dad told you only get out of your relationship what you put in, and that a relationship is 100/100, not 50/50 like everyone believes. I knew something had to be done, so I started dating my wife again. On my way home from work, the store or wherever, I hunt for wildflowers. Pick some and give them to her when I get home. I go to a card store. Buy 10 to 15 romantic cards. Write in them how she has made my life better. How much I love her. How much I look forward to coming home and being with her. How she is the center of my universe and because of her. I want to always be a better man because of her. You get the picture. Each card, letter is different. I send them through the regular mail. U.S. Post Office. When she goes out to get the mail, I know she is expecting to find junk mail, bills and advertising. But now and then she gets a card or letter from me. One time I saw on our Ring doorbell camera as she went to get the mail. I watched as she pulled the mail out of the box, shuffled through the mail, then removed my card from the stack. She opened it and read it twice before she started crying. She has a favorite candy, chocolate, special little things she collects or cherishes. I buy one once in a while for her. Send a box of candy to her in the mail and let her know she has to share them with me when I get home. One time I bought her a child's candy ring. You know, the kind that has the big candy diamond on it. I thought it was a stupid and funny gift. When I gave it to her, I dropped onto one ring and asked her to still be my wife. The kids started laughing. She was laughing with tears, but she wore it for a couple of days, flashing it around like she did her engagement ring. Somehow, her friends found out and the comments started. That I was finally making an honest woman out of her. That I finally put a ring on it. All were funny and relentless. Now I always try to make her feel special. Just like when we were dating. I'm always honest with my feelings. These are just some things I've done in the past. Now and will do in the future. We have very little disposable income, but what I do doesn't cost much money. But the return on that small investment in my wife has made our lives so happy. This is pretty common. Also, check in with how often or whether your wife is actually having an orgasm during sex. After kids, what gets you up and over the edge of orgasm changes. You are happy, but she isn't on the same page. Does she say that she is still physically attracted to you? Does she enjoy having sex with you, or does it seem more like an accommodation? Is she affectionate in other ways beyond sex? The answer to these can help you get an idea of how deep the issue is. From there you can decide on how to proceed. What does busy schedule entail? Are you guys busy with separate interests, responsibilities? Do you take weekend getaways? Perhaps something needs to change on the routine to get her back to her previous self. This is really common in marriage with young kids. Happens to literally everyone. Kids are exhausting, and even though I'm sure you think you're splitting the load 50-50, I guarantee you she is doing more. Does she do most of the school stuff? Drop-offs? Pickups? Packing lunches? Interfacing with teachers? Scheduling activities and doctor appointments? Does she plan all the family outings or activities? Shopping lists? Shopping and cooking? Does she buy all the kids' clothes and supplies? Maintaining the family calendar? Basic chores and childcare are one thing. But there's a lot more going on in terms of planning and executing daily life that typically women end up handling. Trust me, you're likely doing a lot less than you think. Instead of pushing for things like more sexting, figure out where you can help out more. Research relationship articles about the mental load mothers carry in their marriage. If you have mental bandwidth and energy for flirting and sexting, it's because you aren't doing enough. The reason she doesn't feel like flirting or sexting is because she's exhausted. In addition, if you want to spark some intimacy, plan to have a family member take the kids for the weekend and escape with your wife to a nice romantic resort for a couple nights. You do all the planning and reservations. Do not ask her to plan it, but don't surprise her either. Have a nice romantic dinner. Splurge on a massage for the two of you. Pay attention to her. Don't talk about the kids or the house or the problems, just try to enjoy each other for a couple nights. You have 2 kids. What's the situation with them? Who takes care of them? Do you both work? How's the workload of the house? Maybe you should send some flirty texts. Sometimes life gets busy and we get complacent and start to run on autopilot. It's easy between kids and work to kind of stop putting in the effort into romance and intimacy with our partner. Unfortunately, it's probably not just you your wife's disconnected from. It's possible she's also disconnected from her own sensuality, sexuality. It's good you're talking to her about it. Are you just asking her why she's this way, or are you telling her how it makes you feel as well? I know if my husband told me that he felt undesired, I'd step up my efforts to change that. I'd recommend Esther Perel. She's on Instagram, has written books and has a podcast. My advice is you tell your wife you're worried about things getting out of balance between the two of you with 2 kids, and you want each of you to come up with a list of what you do for the family. Things you do every day, week, month, quarter, half year, and year. And then go over it together to make sure neither of you is overburdened, and to see if there's places where you guys might be about to take the load off each other. Like getting a housekeeper or taking over something the other person does. I don't want to trash you and say I don't believe you on the 50-50 with childcare. But statistically the odds are very much against you on this, and overburdened wives aren't known for having energy for sexy time. I'll ask you this. When did you last schedule your kids' doctor appointment? Last time you took them clothes shopping? Who makes your doctor appointments? Do you equally split who takes off work when the kids are sick? Who manages the kids' schedule? Basically look up mental load and make sure you're taking equal part of it before you approach the not enough sex concern. Sad. But dead bedrooms are very common. I've read numbers as high as 40 million married people in the USA alone. But age 32 is young. Would suggest a few things. Ask her to see a doctor, endocrinologist, to check her hormone levels and see if any current meds, e.g. antidepressants, might be staunching her libido. If all is good there, suggest she start individual therapy to see if there are emotional issues at work. Has her body image changed much? Cheating long shot. Sometimes women who cheat don't want to consider themselves as promiscuous. They want to be monogamous. So they push their so into the friend zone so they can be faithful to their affair partner. Have you seen any red flags? If medically and psychologically everything is fine, maybe suggest changing things up in the bedroom. Would you both consider toys, porn, rough sex, role-playing or such things? Recreational drugs might be illegal where you live, but some people have commented that MJ, Molly or ecstasy have helped them have incredible sex. This is the beginning of end of marriage. Soon she will find new guy and then you will be an ex. Start communication or she will move on. Marriage don't last without intimacy because it shows lack of respect for partner, which eventually leads to divorce and her finding new guy.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.